following is a feature presentation of the Replay Sports Channel, the home for great games.
Welcome to Reser Stadium. Washington travels to meet Oregon State. Here's the kick from Scott. The kick from Scott is returned 23 yards by Cope, Nell on the tackle. First and 10. Colliper gives to Blanks. 4-yard gain by Blanks, Sandstrom on the tackle. Colliper at the line. Pitch left to Wojciechowski. Wojciechowski has room to run. 15-yard gain by Wojciechowski, Groff on the tackle, first down. Colliper pitches right to Blanks. Blanks lost 3 on the play, Blackford on the tackle. Colliper hands to Wojciechowski. Wojciechowski on the carry, no gain, Blackford on the tackle. 3rd and 13 from the 46. Colliper drops back to pass. Colliper throws underneath to Janet. Colliper to Janet, incomplete. Huguet deep in punt formation. Rich waiting inside his own 10. A 37-yard punt by Huguet, out of bounds. Enyart with the handoff. 4-yard run by Enyart, Birdie with the tackle. Priest with a short drop. Short pass to Rogers. Priest passes to Rogers, incomplete, Berg on the coverage. 3rd and 6 from the 13. Priest at the line. He sets to throw. Short slant. Priest to Cantland, incomplete, Worley with the coverage. Nell from punt formation. A 39-yard punt by Nell, fair catch by Cope. Wojciechowski with the handoff. Wojciechowski on the carry, loss of 1, Groff with the tackle. Colliper drops back to pass. Colliper is sacked by Sandstrom, loss of 7. 3rd and 18. Colliper at the line. Wojciechowski with the ball. Wide open field. 11-yard run by Wojciechowski, Blackford on the tackle. Huguet back in punt formation. Rich waiting inside his own 10. 37-yard punt by Huguet, out of bounds.
Offsides, defense. 5-yard penalty.
Huguet deep in punt formation. Rich waiting inside his own 10. 41-yard punt by Huguet, out of bounds. Priest gives to Enyart. Enyart with the carry, gain of 3, Maggart on the tackle. 2nd and 7. Priest at the line. Enyart with the handoff. Enyart on the carry, 7-yard gain, Berg on the tackle, first down. 1st and 10. Some movement up front. Enyart with the handoff. Enyart on the carry, gain of 1, penalty on the play.
Encroachment. Defense. Number 70, 5-yard penalty.
First and 5. The give to Summers. Summers with a gain of 1 on the play, Jagam on the tackle. The give to Summers. Summers on the carry, gain of 2, Turner on the tackle. 3rd and 2 from the 21. Priest gives to Enyart. Enyart on the carry, gain of 6, Turner on the tackle, first down. 1st and 10 from the 27. Priest at the line. Enyart takes the handoff. Enyart the ball carrier, gain of 1, Turner on the tackle. 2nd and 9 at the 28. Summers with the handoff. Summers with the 8-yard run, Anderson on the tackle. 3rd and 1. The handoff to Summers. Summers with a gain of 3 on the play, Sharp on the tackle, first down. 1st and 10 from the 39. Enyart with the handoff. Enyart with the 8-yard run, Turner on the tackle. 2nd and 2. 10-play 44-yard drive. 4:29 off the clock. Priest with the give to Enyart. Enyart on the carry, 3-yard gain, Jagam on the tackle, first down. No score. 1st and 10 at the 50. 4:55 left in the first. Current drive, 11 plays, 47 yards. They've used 4:52 on the clock. Priest gives to Maine. Maine on the carry, no gain, Werner on the tackle. 2nd and 10. Current drive, 12 plays, 47 yards. They've used 5:18 on the clock. Priest with the give to Maine. Maine the ball carrier, no gain, penalty on the play.
Offsides. Defense, number 13, 5-yard penalty.
Second and 5 from the 45. Current drive, 13 plays, 52 yards. They've used 5:28 on the clock. And off to Maine. Maine with the carry, gain of 3, Jagam on the tackle. Third and 2. Priest sets up in the pocket. Short out pass. Priest to Rogers, incomplete, Berg on the coverage. Nell deep in punt formation. Cope waiting inside his own 10. A 32-yard punt by Nell, out of bounds. Colliver gives to Blanks. Blanks on the carry, gain of 3, Nelson on the tackle. Second and 7. Colliver drops back to pass. Colliver is sacked by Belcher, loss of 4. No score. Third and 11 from the 9. 2:38 left in the first. Hand off to Wojciechowski. He throws downfield to Wojciechowski. Colliver throws incomplete to Wojciechowski, Groff with the coverage. Huguet back in punt formation. Standing in the end zone. A 47-yard punt by Huguet, return of 16 by Rich. Priest gives to Maine. Maine on the carry, gain of 9, penalty on the play.
Offsides. Defense, number 97, 5-yard penalty.
Second and 1. Maine with the handoff. Maine gains 2 on the sweep, Hanna on the tackle, first down. Priest brings them to the line. Priest shovels it to Enyart. Enyart the ball carrier, gain of 8, Sharp on the tackle. No score. Second and 2 at the 21. 1:13 in the first. Enyart with the handoff. Enyart on the carry, gain of 8, Jagam on the tackle, first down. Priest gives to Maine. Maine on the carry, touchdown Oregon State. Rich will try the point after. The kick by Rich is good, Oregon State 7, Washington 0. Here's the kick from Scott. The kick from Scott is returned 26 yards by Cope, Harrington on the tackle. Penalty on the play.
False start. Offense, number 84, 5-yard penalty. Repeat, first down.
First and 15 from the 32. Hand off to Wojciechowski. 2-yard gain by Wojciechowski, Johnson on the tackle. End of the first quarter, Oregon State 7, Washington 0. Flag on the play.
Encroachment, defense. Number 78, 5-yard penalty. Repeat, second down.
Second and 8. Colliper with the give to Blanks. Blanks gains 2 on the sweep, Blackford on the tackle. 3rd and 6. Draw to Wojciechowski. Wojciechowski on the carry, loss of 2, foot on the tackle. Huguet back in punt formation. A 44-yard punt by Huguet, fair catch by Rich. Priest with the give to Enyart. Enyart with the carry, gain of 2, flag on the play.
Holding, offense. Number 72.
Maine takes the handoff. 2-yard gain by Maine, Hanna on the tackle. Penalty on the play.
False start. Offense. Number 72, 5-yard penalty. Repeat, 2nd down.
Oregon State breaks the huddle. Priest fades back to pass. Long hitch. Priest throws incomplete to Maine. Third and 22. Priest drops back to pass. Medium outside pass. Priest throws incomplete to Cantlin, Morley with the coverage. Nell to punt. In his own end zone. A 50-yard punt by Nell, fair catch by Cope. First and 10 from the 45. He's running right. Wojciechowski with the carry, no gain, Johnson on the tackle. Colliper gives to Wojciechowski. Wojciechowski on the carry, no gain, Blackford on the stop. Third and 10 from the 45. Colliper sets to throw. Colliper throws underneath to Blanks. Colliper passes to Blanks, incomplete, Groff on the coverage. Huguet deep in punt formation. Rich waiting inside his own 10. A 43-yard punt by Huguet, 15-yard return by Rich. Priest calls the signals. Give to Enyart. 2-yard run by Enyart, sharp on the tackle. 2nd and 8. The give to Summers. Summers with a gain of 1 on the play, Lee on the tackle. 3rd and 7 from the 30. The handoff to Enyart. Blocking in front. Enyart with a gain of 16 on the play, Turner on the tackle, first down. Oregon State up 7. First and 10 at the 46. Priest hands to Enyart. Enyart the ball carrier, gain of 3, Berg on the tackle. 2nd and 7. Priest gives to Enyart. Enyart on the carry, gain of 3, Loveleen with the tackle. 3rd and 4 from the 48. Priest sets up in the pocket. Screen. Priest with the pass to Summers, 10-yard gain, Turner on the tackle, first down. 1st and 10 at the 38. Hand off to Enyart. 1 yard gain by Enyart, Jagam with the tackle. 2nd and 9. Priest calling signals. Priest gives to Enyart. Big hole. Enyart with a 28-yard run, penalty on the play.
Offsides. Defense. Number 84, 5-yard penalty.
First and goal from the 9. Summers with the transfer. Summers the ball carrier, gain of 5, Worley on the tackle. 2nd and goal from the 4. Priest sparks out the signals. 9-play 69-yard drive. 4:01 off the clock. Maine with the handoff. Maine on the carry, touchdown Oregon State. Rich will try the point after. The kick by Rich is good, Oregon State 14, Washington 0. Scott with the kick. The kick from Scott is returned 26 yards by Cope, Har on the stop. Colliver hands to Wojciechowski. 4-yard run by Wojciechowski, Johnson on the stop. 2nd and 6. Blanks with the ball now. Blanks on the carry, gain of 2, Belcher on the stop. 3rd and 4 from the 38. Colliver sets up in the pocket. Short out to Janet. Colliver to Janet, incomplete. Huguet back in punt formation. A 44-yard punt by Huguet, 14-yard return by Rich. Bootleg. 2-yard run by Priest, Hannah on the tackle. Priest fades back to pass. Screen to Maine. Priest throws incomplete to Maine, Jagam on the coverage. 3rd and 8 from the 34. Priest sparks out the signals. Drops back to pass. He throws underneath to Maine. Priest completes the pass to Maine, gain of 10, Jagam on the tackle, first down. Priest gives to Maine. Maine with a 9-yard run, Sprinkle on the tackle. Maine with the handoff. Maine on the carry, gain of 1, Lee on the stop, first down. 1st and 10. Priest gives to Enyart. Enyart with the carry, 1-yard gain, Sharp on the tackle. Beavers leads by 14. 2nd and 9 from the 45. Priest takes a deep drop. Medium fly. Priest throws incomplete to Cantlin, Worley with the coverage. 3rd and 9. Priest drops back to pass. Medium cross to Rogers. Priest completes the pass to Rogers, gain of 15, Berg on the tackle, first down. 1st and 10 at the 30. Enyart with the handoff. 3-yard gain by Enyart, and penalty flag.
Holding, offense. Number 72, 10-yard penalty.
Draw to Maine. Main on the carry, gain of 6, Sharp with the tackle. 2nd and 14 at the 34. Priest calls out the signals. Hand off to Main. It's dumped to Main. Priest throws incomplete to Main, Jagam with the coverage. 3rd and 14 from the 34. Priest fades back to pass. False. Priest on the carry, gain of 1, Turner on the tackle. Nell deep in punt formation. "33-yard punt by Nell, touchback." Washington down by 14. Colliper gives to Blanks. Blanks lost 3 on the play, Foley with the tackle. Colliper back to pass. He throws to Wojciechowski. Colliper passes to Wojciechowski, gain of 8, Groff with the tackle. Washington down 14. 3rd and 5 at the 25. 1:17 in the second. Colliper fades back to pass. Pass in the flat to Wojciechowski. Colliper throws incomplete to Wojciechowski, Groff on the coverage. Huguet back in punt formation. "46-yard punt by Huguet, fair catch by Rich. Oregon State ahead by 14. Priest with the give to Maine. 2-yard run by Maine, Hanna with the tackle. The hand off to Enyart. Enyart with a 1-yard run, Sharp on the tackle. 3rd and 7 at the 32. Priest drops back to pass. He checks down to Plumlee. Priest to Plumlee, gain of 8, Verdi with the tackle, first down. 1st and 10 at the 40. Priest with the give to Enyart. Enyart with a gain of 7 on the play, Jagam on the tackle. Oregon State ahead by 14. 2nd and 3 from the 47. 0:25 in the second. The give to Enyart. 8-yard gain by Enyart, Jagam on the tackle, first down. Priest at the line. Priest gives to Enyart. Enyart lost 1 on the play, Hanna on the stop, end of the first half, Oregon State 14, Washington 0, Ballbreak to kick off. The kick from Ballbreak is returned 29 yards by Maine, Spryesturbach with the tackle. 1st and 10 from the 33. Priest gives to Enyart. Enyart the ball carrier, no gain, Hanna on the tackle. Quick pitch to Enyart. Enyart with a gain of 3 on the play, Sharp on the tackle. 3rd and 7 at the 36. Maine on the draw. Maine with a gain of 5 on the play, Sharp on the tackle. Nell back in punt formation. A 52-yard punt by Nell, return of 10 by Cope.
Receiving team.
Colliper calling signals. Colliper hands to Wojciechowski. Wojciechowski on the carry, gain of 4, Johnson on the tackle. Flag on the field.
False start. Offense, number 84, repeat, second down.
Running right. Wojciechowski with the carry, loss of 2, Blackford on the tackle. 3rd and 12 from the 1. Colliper sets to throw. Colliper throws underneath to Bulger. Colliper completes the pass to Bulger, gain of 13, holds on the tackle, first down. Hand off to Blanks. Blanks on the carry, no gain, Sandstrom on the tackle. Hand off to Blanks. Blanks with a gain of 5 on the play, Boley on the tackle. 3rd and 5. Colliper hands to Wojciechowski. Wojciechowski with a 3-yard run, Belcher on the stop. Huget deep in punt formation. A 35-yard punt by Huget, fair catch by Rich. Reese calls the signals. Reese hands to Enyart. Enyart on the carry, no gain, Sharp on the tackle. 2nd and 10 from the 43. Reese with the give to Summers. Summers with a gain of 12 on the play, Sprinkle on the tackle, first down. Reese pitches right to Summers. A 9-yard gain by Summers, Turner on the tackle. 2nd and 1 at the 36. Reese gives to Summers. Summers on the carry, no gain, Jagam on the tackle. 3rd and 1 from the 36. Reese gives to Maine. Maine with a gain of 1 on the play, Werner on the tackle, first down. Reese gives to Enyart. 4-yard run by Enyart, Anna on the stop. Oregon State ahead by 14. 2nd and 6. 7:26 in the 3rd. Reese pitches left to Enyart. Enyart with the carry, gain of 5, Sharp on the tackle. 3rd and 1. Give to Huddleston. With daylight. Huddleston on the carry, gain of 14, Berg with the tackle, first down. Reese hands to Huddleston. Huddleston on the carry, gain of 1, Werner on the stop. Oregon State by 14. Current drive, 9 plays, 46 yards. 4:10 off the clock. Pitch left to Enyart. Enyart gains 7 on the pitch, Berg with the tackle. 3rd and 2 at the 4. Reese at the line. Reese gives to Enyart. Enyart on the sweep, touchdown Oregon State. Rich will try the point after. Rich converts the extra point, Oregon State 21, Washington 0. Scott boots it. The kick from Scott is returned 28 yards by Cope, Harrington with the tackle. Wojciechowski with the ball now. Wojciechowski the ball carrier, gain of 8, Groff on the tackle. 2nd and 2. Hand off to Wojciechowski. Wojciechowski with the carry, 1 yard gain, Johnson with the tackle. 3rd and 1. Give to Cornell. 2-yard run by Cornell, Johnson on the tackle, 1st down. Flag on the play.
False start. Offense, number 65, 5-yard penalty, repeat 1st down.
Washington breaks the huddle. Colliper calling signals. Pitch to Blanks. Blanks lost 4 on the play, Groff, penalty on the play. Penalty on the play.
False start. Offense, number 54, 5-yard penalty, repeat 2nd down.
Washington trailing by 21. Cornell in the slot. Colliper takes a deep drop. Colliper throws underneath to Bulger. Colliper completes the pass to Bulger, gain of 1, Rich on the stop. Washington trailing by 21. 3rd and 23. 3:21 left in the 3rd. Colliper back to pass. Long hitch to Wood. Colliper is intercepted by Olds, return of 44. Cree sparks out the signals. Crease hands to Enyart. Enyart lost 1 on the play, Sharp on the tackle. 2nd and 11 from the 24. Slow down. Crease running. Crease with daylight. Crease on the sweep, touchdown Oregon State. Rich will try the point after. Rich makes the extra point, Oregon State 28, Washington 0. Here's the kick from Scott. The kick from Scott is returned 30 yards by Cope, Har on the tackle. Colliper calls the signals. Hand off to Blanks. With the lane. Blanks on the carry, gain of 14, Blackford on the tackle, 1st down. Colliper gives to Cornell. Cornell with a 2-yard run, Johnson on the tackle. 2nd and 8 from the 49. Colliper hands to Kennemar. Kennemar on the sweep, gain of 3, penalty on the play.
Illegal motion. Offense, number 92, 5-yard penalty.
Second and 13 at the 46. Colliper fades back to pass. Medium hitch. Colliper completes the pass to Blanks, gain of 21, Blackford with the tackle, 1st down. Washington down 28. Give to Cornell. Cornell gains 3 on the sweep, Belcher on the tackle. 2nd and 7 at the 30. Hand off to Cope. Cope with a gain of 11 on the play, Johnson on the tackle, first down, end of the third quarter, Oregon State 28, Washington 0. Wojciechowski with the handoff. Wojciechowski with the carry, penalty flag. Second and 11 from the 20. Cope takes the handoff. Cope on the carry, no gain, Belcher on the tackle. 3rd and 11 at the 20. Colliper is back to pass. False. Colliper on the carry, gain of 1, Groff on the tackle. Washington trailing by 28. 4th and 10 at the 19. Colliper sets up in the pocket. Medium out to Wojciechowski. Colliper passes to Wojciechowski, touchdown Washington. Ballbrecht will try the point after. Ballbrecht converts the extra point, Oregon State 28, Washington 7. Here's the kick from Ballbrecht. The kick from Ballbrecht is returned 31 yards by Maine, Ariasta on the tackle. 1st and 10 from the 38. Priest gives to Enyart. Enyart the ball carrier, gain of 4, Jagam on the tackle. Slow down offense. Priest calls out the signals. Enyart with the handoff. Enyart with a gain of 2 on the play, Turner on the tackle. 3rd and 4 from the 44. Priest back to pass. False. Priest on the carry, gain of 3, Jagam on the stop. Nell from punt formation. Cope waiting inside his own 10. A 40-yard punt by Nell, fair catch by Cope. Colliper pitches right to Blanks. Blanks on the carry, no gain, Blackford on the stop. Colliper calls the signals. The hand off to Cope. Cope with a gain of 5 on the play, Rich on the tackle. 3rd and 5 at the 18. Colliper fades back to pass. He dumps it to Wood. Colliper throws incomplete to Wood, Whitney on the coverage. Huguet from punt formation. A 47-yard punt by Huguet, out of bounds. Bootleg. 2-yard run by Priest, Hanna on the tackle. Oregon State in no hurry. The give to Huddleston. Huddleston with a gain of 2 on the play, Sharp on the tackle. 3rd and 6 from the 39. Priest working very slowly. Cantlin is doubled at the line. Draw to Maine. Maine gains 2 on the draw, Berg on the tackle. Nell back to punt. A 44-yard punt by Nell, fair catch by Cope. Washington down 21. Slips it to Wojciechowski. Wojciechowski with a 4-yard run, Nelson on the tackle. 2nd and 6 from the 19. Hurry up offense. Colliper fades back to pass. He checks down to Cornell. Colliper to Cornell, incomplete, Blackford with the coverage. 3rd and 6 at the 19. Colliper fades back to pass. Colliper throws to Cornell. Colliper passes to Cornell, gain of 14, Groff on the tackle, first down. Washington hustling to the line. Hand off to Wojciechowski. Wojciechowski on the carry, gain of 2, Sandstrom on the tackle. Washington in a hurry up. Colliper hands to Cope. Cope on the carry, gain of 3, Belcher on the tackle. 3rd and 5 from the 38. Colliper fades back to pass. Short hitch. Colliper is intercepted by Blackford, return of 12. Hand off to Enyart. Enyart on the sweep, 1-yard gain, Hanna on the tackle. Priest slow to the line. The give to Huddleston. 7-yard run by Huddleston, Sharp with the tackle. 3rd and 2 at the 24. They're taking their time. Priest at the line. Priest gives to Enyart. Enyart on the carry, no gain, Werner with the tackle. 4th and 2 at the 24. Oregon State working slowly. The hand off to Enyart. Enyart the ball carrier, gain of 2, Werner on the tackle, first down. 1st and 10. Slow down offense. The give to Enyart. Enyart on the carry, gain of 1, Turner on the tackle. 2nd and 9 at the 21. They're in a slow down. The give to Enyart. 2-yard run by Enyart, Werner with the tackle. 3rd and 7 from the 19. Priest taking his time. Priest calls out the signals. The hand off to Enyart. Enyart with a gain of 5 on the play, Werner on the stop. Scott will try from 31 yards. The snap from Didion. Scott missed from 31 yards. Colliper barks out the signals. Colliper fades back to pass. False. Colliper on the carry, gain of 3, put on the tackle. Washington hustling to the line. Colliper fades back to pass. Long out pass. Colliper completes the pass to Wood, gain of 30, holds on the tackle, first down. Colliper fades back to pass. Medium out. Colliper to Wojciechowski, incomplete. Colliper at the line. Fades back to pass. Medium out. Colliper passes to Blanks, gain of 18, Blackford on the tackle, first down. Washington hustling to the line. Colliper back to pass. Medium hitch to Wojciechowski. Colliper completes the pass to Wojciechowski, gain of 12, Groff on the tackle, first down. Washington in a hurry up. Colliper deep in the pocket. Long sideline pass to Wood. Colliper is intercepted by Whitley, return of 0. Priest calls the signals. Priest hands to Maine. 1 yard run by Maine, Sharp on the tackle. Second and 9 from the 21. Slow down. Maine with the handoff. Maine with a 1 yard run, Washington on the tackle. Third and 8. Oregon State in no hurry. Priest calls the signals. Summers takes the handoff. Summers with the carry, gain of 1, Jagam on the tackle. Nell back to punt. A 39-yard punt by Nell, return of 12 by Cope. Colliper at the line. He fades back to pass. Long out. Colliper throws incomplete to Wood, R on the coverage. Washington trailing by 21. Second and 10. 0:36 in the fourth. Colliper drops back to pass. Long out pass to Wood. Colliper to Wood, incomplete. Washington trailing by 21. Third and 10. 0:29 left in the game. Colliper drops back to pass. He throws deep downfield. Colliper to Bulger, incomplete. Fourth and 10. Colliper sets up in the pocket. Colliper throws deep. Colliper passes to Wood, incomplete, R with the coverage. Enyart with the ball now. Enyart the ball carrier, gain of 4, Wenger. Berry on the tackle. Oregon State 28, Washington 7.
Thank you for watching this presentation of the Replay Sports Channel.